If you're looking to capture your voice in the cleanest way possible to make you sound awesome for a podcast, a webinar, or even some voiceover work, but you haven't got a huge budget to be spending, then I've got some suggestions that will help you out. Now, if we're meeting for the first time, then hi, my name's Liam. I've been creating online learning resources for quite a while now, and I love creating things like videos, podcasts, and I've also been asked to deliver a webinar about podcasting in the not too distant future, and I'll give you a bit more details about that when that comes about if you're interested. But you're here because you're interested in trying to get that best sound of your voice for the recording that you're attempting to make. So the first recommendation that I'm going to give to you is something that you probably already own, and that being smartphone headphones. If you've got a pair of these smartphone headphones laying around, whether that be an actual plug-in headphone example like I've got here, or whether that's going to be something like earbuds or AirPods, you get the idea. I've not got a pair, so I've clearly not got the name right. But if you've got either of those options, then this should absolutely be a great starting point where you shouldn't even have to spend any more money. Now, the first reason that it's a great idea for you to use headphones when you're making your recordings is because the microphone has been developed to make you sound absolutely amazing when you're on the phone. So it makes sense that actually if you're using that as your solution for capturing your audio, then it's going to work equally as well. And if you're just getting started and you're just dipping your toe in the water, just seeing if you're kind of liking what it is that you're doing, or if it's just a one-off, it's a great option. Simply plug that into your device, whether that be tablet, computer, or mobile phone, depending on where you're capturing that, and the recording should be just what you need for that one-off gig. Now, if the reason you're looking for this best audio solution is because you're going to be a guest on a show, or you're perhaps attending a webinar where there's a Q&A element, I would still hang on to those headphones and make sure you plug them in and use them to listen to the conversation that you're having. The reason for that is because if you're going to be invested in a little bit more of an expensive equipment, what can happen is if you're listening to somebody talking, then the volume from the speakers might actually be captured on your side, and what we call a little bit of audio bleed, which is where the microphone captures both you and the person that's speaking on the other end, and that's not something you want, not very professional. So hang on to those headphones and make sure you got them plugged in, because you don't want to get that horrible audio bleed. But if you have got a little bit more budget, or perhaps you're going to be doing this on a more regular occurrence, then something I would recommend is this Audio Technica ATR 2100. Now, the reason for this is because this microphone can grow with you. Now, as a caveat, I would also say perhaps take a look at the Samsung Q2U, because that is pretty much an identical microphone, and where they've actually updated this model, I actually think that Samsung is either on a par or perhaps even outperforming this Audio Technica that it was originally based on. Now, this microphone is fantastic, as I say, because it can grow with you. Now, if we look at the bottom here, we've got two different ways of connecting our device. The first way, which is going to be the easiest way for you, and especially if you're just attending a webinar or a podcast interview, or you're just capturing your audio through the computer, is going to be simply using one of these USB cables. You've got a little port on the bottom, simply plug in your cable into the port and then plugging it into your computer. When you're looking at your audio settings, making sure you've found the microphone that should then appear, and you're good to go. So a really basic setup from a much better microphone that will help you out. Now, one thing to note about both the Audio Technica and the Samsung is that they do come with a pop filter. So if you find this in the box, then do make sure you pop it over, and then you'll be able to remove any horrible plosives. So a noise that's often picked up with P's and S's and things like that, it will just make you sound a little bit clearer and removing any horrible noises that your audience could potentially hear. Now, as well as that, these microphones do come with a little desk stand, but to be honest, they are tiny. So it might be that, you might get a stack of books and stand it so it's going to be quite close to you, But to be honest, if you've gone this far, then for the sake of, I think, about £18 or dollars, then you can get a pretty good desk stand that will get the microphone a lot closer to you. You want the microphone relatively close to you, not necessarily all the way up on your mouth, but at least a little distance, about a thumb to finger distance away from you, holding the microphone away from you, would generally capture a really good sound. Now, as I said, this microphone can grow with you. So we've also got a different connection, so an XLR connection where we can plug this XLR cable into the bottom here. And then if you're going to be investing a little bit more money on a slightly different setup where we're going to be having an audio interface, such as the highly popular Scala or the Zoom HN5, for example, HN4, we would be plugging our microphone into those setups. Now, that is for a different video because that's a whole different price point and a whole different kind of setup that you're looking for that. But I wonder if this has helped you to make a decision and whether it's something that you are now considering. Do let me know in the comments. But if you're keen to learn more about podcasting, if that's the way that you're going to go, then be sure to subscribe, because I've already started to release a lot of videos on that subject, and conveniently there's another video here about that. And if you want to learn a bit more about me, then click on this video over here.